This is a short video tutorial to explain and show the steps of exporting a rubric from one Blackboard course and importing it into another. This is primarily used for assessment purposes where rubrics have already been created connected with learning goals for a given program, and you need to export a given rubric out and use it for assessment for a given semester. And so this video is intended to show you all of those steps so you can start and stop the video along the way and follow along as we progress. Okay, so first make sure you're logged into Blackboard. So I'm just logged into my Blackboard homepage here. In this case, this is really targeted at assessment for the School of Arts and Sciences programs, and so those rubrics are located under the Organizations tab, so not the St. John Fisher College first tab when you log in, but across the top here we're going to click on Organizations. When we go to Organizations, here in the center you should see an organization called School of Arts and Sciences Resources. So all of the assessments for School of Arts and Sciences programs will be listed within this organization. So go ahead and click on that organization. When you're inside the organization, down across the left, we're actually going to scroll down here under the control panel and we're going to open up Organization Tools. One of the options under Organization Tools is Rubrics. That's what we're looking for. So go ahead and click on Rubrics. When you get to the Rubrics page, you're going to see a variety of goals listed here, broken down by program. So first you can see a couple goals for film and television studies. We've got IM, interactive media, and a variety of goals there. We've got MCOM, or media and communication. So you get the idea. Each of the programs has a number of goals and sub-goals. So 1.2, 1.3, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, goal 2, goal 3, depending on how the goals are created for each of those programs. The idea here is that all of the rubrics and the goals should be listed, and you should know prior to coming in to do this work what goal it is you're looking for. If you don't know, the best person to reach out to would be your department chair to understand specifically how the assessment in your course that you're teaching this semester is connected with a curricular map of the whole program and the assessment that's intended for the program overall. So reach out to them if you're not sure what goal to be looking for. But once you know that goal, you should find it in the list here. And what you will do is I'm just going to pull the MCOM goal 1.2. You actually check off the checkbox just here to the left of that goal, and you will go up to the top and choose Export. Now, if you do have to assess multiple goals in a given semester for the same course, you can do multiple goals, multiple rubrics to export here, and you can do this all in one step. So if you want to do 2 or 3 at the same time, you can do that if they're all going to the same course. If you're trying to take goal 1.2 to one course and goal 1.3 to another course, you want to do this separately. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to select just this one. So MCOM goal 1.2, check off to the left here, and again up to the very top, and I'm going to choose Export. When you export, it's just going to give you a quick message what goal it is you're exporting and where you want to export to. I want to export this only to my local computer, so I'm saving a version of it down on my local computer, and then I'm going to import that into another course. So local computer, and hit submit, and then it gives me the option to download what I just chose. Okay, so when I download, you can see here in Chrome, usually this comes up just in this lower left area. In other browsers, it may be in the upper right with a little arrow up there for downloads. Wherever your downloads go, that's where that will be located. Now here is a very important piece of the process. You do not want to click on this and say open. This is actually a zip file. You do not want to open the zip file. That will try to open all the files that are inside of it and start working through the details, and that's not what you want to do. So my trick here is actually leave this bar open and actually move your browser over a little bit so it's a little bit scrunched down, and I literally just take this file, drop it on the desktop. And what that does is it just gives me the file on the desktop. It's not opening the zip file, it's not trying to see what's inside that zip file, it's just literally placing the zip file down on my desktop, someplace easy where I can find it. Okay, so now once I've done that, I can make my browser full size again. Open up this panel if I have to. And now what I want to do is navigate out of this organization shell where we are, but actually into the course where I want to use this goal for assessment. So now back on the Blackboard homepage, I'm going to go to the St. John Fisher College tab, And in my courses module, I'm going to find the course where I want to import this. So for my purposes, I'm going to go into my training course. You would obviously choose a course for a given semester where this is connected. Now that I'm inside my training course, this is actually going to be very similar to what we just did in the organization, but instead of exporting, we're importing. So down on the left, again, past the navigation under the control panel, this time we're going to open up course tools because we're not in an organization anymore, we're in a course. So course tools, scroll down in this list, find rubrics. There may or may not already be rubrics in this list if you use rubrics for other purposes. But what you want to do here is an import rubric. Okay, so choose import rubric, browse my computer, and now from the desktop, I should be able to find something that is labeled rubric export file blah 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 .zip. That's what I want. The zip file that I just put on my desktop is what I want to import. Okay, so I chose that file and then I hit submit. And then it gives me a quick message. It's running through all the files, and it looks like everything is good. The operation import has completed. Okay. So now, close this thing out. In my list of rubrics that I already had in the course, I now also have my MCOM program goal 1.2. So this rubric looks exactly like the rubric that was created in the School of Arts and Sciences Resources course. Now I need to decide where I'm actually going to use this within my own course to assess student work. The majority of assessments for this situation have been connected with an individual grade column. So what we were going to do is go to the Grade Center, go to Full Grade Center, and first what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a column. So I'm going to call this MCOM Goal 1.2. I'm going to scroll down, and I'm actually going to skip all of this stuff in the middle here, and I'm going to jump right to Add a Rubric, Select a Rubric. This now shows me all the rubrics I have created in this course, so I can choose my Goal 1.2 that I just imported and hit Submit. And this is telling me it's okay that the rubric's max points are going to be assigned as the points possible. So that's why I skipped this points possible and I didn't type anything in, because when I add a rubric, I'm going to hit OK here, it adds the rubric to this line here so that I can use it for grading purposes, but it also adds the points possible from this rubric. So this rubric is a 4-point rubric and it adds the point possible of 4. Okay. In this case, this is used for assessment purposes, so it's used for grading, but it doesn't need to be shown to students. I'm going to scroll down further. 2 other common settings we changed for columns specifically for assessment is do not include this in the Grade Center and do not show this column to students, because this is really a column that is intended just for you to provide assessment, feedback to the department, to the college, to the school overall, not specifically used in your students' grading. Okay. So then go ahead and hit Submit. Okay, so now, way at the end of my gradebook, I've got this column called MCOM Goal 1.2. This red slash means that it's not visible to students, and my rubric is already associated with that column. So now what I can do is when I'm assessing a given student, I'm going to take my first student here in the list. I'm just going to pull the drop-down arrow for their specific cell and say View Grade Details. When I view grade details, I don't necessarily want to just enter the 1, 2, 3, 4, some kind of score in the rubric. What I want to do is actually click View Rubric. And this will show me the full details of that rubric. What the goal was, MCOM Goal 1.2, the overall description or the higher level goal, and then the very specific detailed goal here with the criteria of what does it mean if the student only achieved a 1, if the student achieved a 2, if the student achieved a 3, or all the way to the student achieving a 4. Okay, so you pick, which level matches the student's achievement for what you're assessing. And really, you can see I'm just checking off each box here, whichever one I choose. You don't need to leave any feedback because remember, students are not seeing this anyway. We're really just collecting the actual score. And so I'm going to say this student achieves this goal at a level 4, and then I'm going to hit save. Now what that did is it now populated the goal for here, but also at the rubric level where I graded it. So now I just need to go all the way down to the bottom of this page and hit save again. Okay, and now I could either jump to my next student in the list, or I could return to the grade center. So now for this MCOM goal, this student specifically has the 4 score, but not just as a manually typed in number 4, but actually graded directly on the rubric. Okay, so those are the steps of exporting the rubric from the School of Arts and Sciences organization, importing the rubric into your specific course where you're going to use it, and then creating a column and associating that rubric with the column you're going to use for assessment purposes, and assessing students on that rubric level. Okay, so I hope that answered all the questions. Again, feel free to start and stop the video, replay the steps that might be confusing or you need to do multiple times, but hopefully that answers some of your questions.